So everyone, as Pastor Neasley said, I'm Dr. JarMara Welch. I'm the founder of the TheSuperModelSociety, which is a media company that puts forth content structured to influence, educate, and inspire. When Pastor Neasley approached me to conduct this session, I was really excited because great style is something that inspires me. So when she asked if I'd be willing to speak to the topic of style development, I leaped at the opportunity. So today I'm going to share with you what I've come to understand are the nuts and bolts for developing or even evolving your personal style. Now, before we get started, let me give a few disclaimers as well as my philosophical underpinnings. Although what I'm going to share today is considered as best practices among style professionals, I myself am not a professional stylist. I am self-taught. And many years ago, when I was about 30 pounds lighter and in college, I was a professional commercial print model for 4 years. Concerning my professional background, I am an educator by trade and an entrepreneur. In terms of my background in education, in September of 2020, I completed a 4-year post as the Assistant Dean and Director of Teacher Education for the University of California at Riverside. And since leaving UCR, I have been focused primarily on entrepreneurial pursuits as well as investments. All that aside, I love all things style. And so again, I'm honored and excited to be able to talk to you today about what I see as an important topic. Now, although you've heard me say that I will be sharing what are considered as best practices by style professionals, at the end of the day, these best practices are the opinions and thoughts of those with a background in fashion and styling. It's important that I draw attention to the fact that these practices are opinions and thoughts, because the style development and what goes into it is truly someone's opinion. It's someone's taste or their preference. So I argue that there is no science behind it. That said, style norms are what have come to be known and shared by many. It doesn't necessarily make it a fact. For that reason, today, I will not be covering trends. Trends come and go and truly are the opinion of fashion professionals who have a product to sell. And they want us as the consumer to buy their product. And there's nothing wrong with that. All that said, understand that every trend is not for everybody. Trends, opinions, and best practices aside, there is a famous saying, chew the meat and spit out the bones. In other words, take what you can from this session and apply it where you see fit in your own personal style journey. Also, keep in mind, there is no one size that fits all. Still on opinions and thoughts, I also want you to keep in mind that fashion is made up of clothes, accessories, shoes, bags, etc. Style, on the other hand, is how you wear those clothes, how you wear that hat, how you wear those shoes. Style is also cultural. And going further, your style is personal. Style is how you rock those shoes or how you wrap that scarf or how you carry that bag. Style is how you walk, it's how you talk, it's how you interact with people. It's how you style your hair or even your nails. Style is your confidence, which comes from within. Style is you. And let's be honest, only you can be you. That said, again, as it pertains to what is shared today, chew the meat and spit out the bones and apply these shared understandings and practices where you see fit in your life. Lastly, as it pertains to my own philosophical underpinnings, for me, beauty is as beauty does. In other words, what you do with your life is what makes you beautiful. With that in mind, I have an alternate definition for supermodel, which really is the underlying philosophy for my company as a whole. And that is, a true supermodel is one who endeavors to be a light by expressing the best in themselves in a manner that inspires others to be their best, all for the glory of God. So when it comes to how to apply that to style, that is my philosophical frame. In my mind, how I dress should be one, and I'm emphasizing one, of the ways in which I express the best in me, so much so that it inspires others to dress their best and glorify God. I had to share that because, again, that is what guides me, and it's also what is going to guide what I share with you today. So when it comes to applying shared strategies for developing one's style, I'm filtering it through the lens of my philosophical frame. I hope that makes sense. And with that, I want you to grab a pen and a paper or a notebook. Got my notebook right here, because this is going to be an interactive as well as an introspective session. With that, let's get started. Class is in session. Now, discovering your personal style or even evolving your personal style requires a certain level of introspection. So our essential question, or EQ, and yes, I'm going into teacher mode, that I want you to ponder throughout this session is, what are the benefits of developing your personal style? In fact, I need you to write that question down. So in developing your personal style, aside from the obvious of looking nice, what's in it for you? Well, by the end of today's session, my goal or objective for you is to see that developing your personal style does all of these four things. One, it saves you money. Two, it saves you time because it helps you to be organized and creates cohesion. Three, it helps to curb negative impacts on the environment due to overconsumption. And four, it gives you a sense of self-identity and confidence, not arrogance, but confidence. So how does developing your personal style save you money? If I were a betting woman, and I'm not a gambler, I would be willing to bet $1 million that somebody on this online conference has clothes hanging up in their closet that they bought months or maybe even years ago that still have tags on them, and you've never worn the outfit. That snakeskin pleather midi skirt that you've got hanging up that you bought at Nordstrom's, you don't even like snakeskin, and it matches nothing in your wardrobe. That's money wasted and down the drain. If you knew your personal style, you wouldn't have bought that skirt, even if it was 75% off. How does developing your personal style save you time? Again, if I were a betting woman, I'd be willing to bet another $1 million that somebody on this call, and I'm guilty myself, has gone into their closet and has spent way too much time trying to figure out what they are going to wear. A closet full of clothes with nothing to wear. You arrived 3, 4, 5 hours fashionably late to the party because you couldn't find nothing to wear. Now that's a shame, and you know it. You see, when your closet is organized according to your style, this will save you a load of time. And how does developing your personal style save you from overconsumption, negatively impacting the environment? We understand that overconsumption is the fact of consuming something in excess. So when we have a closet full of clothes with nothing to wear, one could say that it is overconsumption because you have a lot of stuff that you don't need or use. So how does that negatively impact the environment? Well, I don't know if you knew this, but I'm going to provide you with a few stats, some of the guilty things that the fashion industry has done. The fashion industry produces 10% of all of humanity's carbon emissions. That's more emissions than all international flights and maritime shipping combined. The fashion industry is the second largest consumer of the world's water supply. And to give you an idea of how much water, it takes about 700 gallons to produce one cotton shirt. That's enough water for one person to drink at least 8 cups of water per day for 3.5 years. And it takes about 2,000 gallons of water to produce the pair of jeans that you might be wearing right now. That's right, 2,000 gallons of water to produce one pair of jeans. That's enough for a person to have water for 10 years. Now you may be wondering, why so much water? Well, as both jeans and shirt are made from cotton, Cotton is a highly water-intensive plant. The fashion industry is also guilty of polluting our oceans with microplastics. Yeah, it's that bad. As noted by BusinessInsider.com, while people bought 60% more garments in 2014 than in 2000, they only kept the clothes for half as long. Now, here's some more facts. In Europe, fashion companies went from an average of offering 2 collections per year in 2000 to 5 collections by 2011. And to provide a picture of that excess in clothing produced by fast fashion, 85% of textiles go into landfills each year. In fact, as noted by the United Nations Environment Program, the equivalent of 1 garbage truck full of clothes is burned or dumped in a landfill every second. Every second. Washing clothes releases 500,000 tons of microfibers into the ocean each year. That's the equivalent of 50 billion plastic bottles. In a 2017 report from the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, they estimated that 35% of all microplastics, which are very small pieces of plastic that never biodegrade, are in the ocean. And they came from the laundering of synthetic textiles like polyester. Overall, microplastics are estimated to compose up to 31% of plastic pollution in the ocean. Considering these glaring facts, I hope that you can see how developing your personal style can help you to curb overconsumption and protect the environment. Now, how does developing your personal style give you a sense of self-identity or confidence? As I mentioned early on, style is personal. Simply put, it's a reflection of you, and no one can be you but you. You are unique in all the world. Think about it. Out of the millions on this planet, the Most High chose you to walk the earth. And so I say, shine for him and stretch your stuff down the runway of life and reflect the greatness that he has installed in you, giving all glory and honor to him. Now, as stated early on, personal style encompasses all of you. Again, it's your personality and how you interact with people. It's your walk, it's your talk, it's your hair, it's the way you wear your makeup, it's your clothes, it's your shoes. You get my point. That in mind, for today's purposes, we are going to focus on the fashion aspect of style development. Now, consider this. Lifestyle plays a major role in what you wear. So I want you to ask yourself, what is my lifestyle? And you need to write that down. Your style should be conducive to and reflect your lifestyle. Think about your occupation, your location and climate. Are you single or married? Are you a parent or a grandparent? Are you a student? How do you spend most of your time? And what are your goals? As a reminder, I said this session was going to be introspective and interactive. That said, I asked these questions because developing your personal style is also about planning. All of these questions I asked plays a role in your lifestyle, which thereby will impact your style of dress. At this time, I want you to take just a few moments to jot down a few notes in answer to those questions about your lifestyle. For example, for your occupation, are you an educator or a physician? Perhaps you're a real estate professional. Where do you live? Are you in California or Colorado, New York or Hawaii? The way people dress in New York is very different than the way folks dress in Hawaii. And be realistic about your style. For example, if you're an elementary teacher, while you may love rocking stilettos, I'm sorry, but running around the classroom and the schoolyard all day, 5 days a week in 5-inch heels will get tired real quick. Trust me, I know, I was a classroom teacher for 5 years. The shoes are cute, but your feet will pay for it. Or maybe you're an attorney, but you love rocking Pumas with the fat laces and sweats. And if it were up to you, you'd wear that all day, every day. But again, you're an attorney. And I'm confident that if you show up to court like that, the judge will send you out for inappropriate dress. Now, what's my point? Am I saying don't buy the 5-inch heels or the Pumas? No. I'm saying that the majority of your wardrobe should be reflective of how you spend most of your time. That said, if most of your time is spent in your occupation, then most of your wardrobe should be reflective of and suitable to your occupation. Think of like an 80-20 split. So maybe 80% of your wardrobe reflects your occupation, while 20% reflects other aspects of who you are, what you like, and how you spend your time. And please don't get caught up on the percentage of 80-20. That's just an example. Now, some of you also may be thinking, but JarMara, I don't like my occupation, or I'm working on getting into another field that I want to be in. That said, think about your goals. Dress according to your goals. If you know that you're on the road to being a CEO, how does a CEO of your future corporation dress? When it comes to style development, you can't just go with what you want to wear. What are your goals? What is your lifestyle? Your style of dress should be reflective of that. Something else to consider with lifestyle is that as you mature, your style will evolve. So as you're developing your personal style, you need to consider, where do you see your life going in the next 1 to 5 years? Where do you want your career to be? How do you see your life as it pertains to your family and friends? And taking all of this into consideration and your perspective and your lifestyle today, your projected lifestyle, you can begin to visualize yourself dressed for that occasion, for that event, for that season and time and space. So now that we've thought about lifestyle, let's think about who or what inspires us. I want you to jot down these things. What are your preferences? What do you naturally gravitate to? Whose style inspires you? What is your style goal? And who does she look like? And I want you to come up with 3 to 5 words or phrases to describe your style ideal and write that down. For me, when I think about what are my preferences and what I gravitate to in terms of style, my words are chic but relaxed. I am a Cali girl, born and bred, who now lives in Texas. I'm also into fashion that is effortless and whimsical, coastal cool, bold, and a bit edgy. For me, I like clean lines. I like bold block colors. I like statement piece jewelry. And I love Ankara fashion. I also love neo soul music, so that whole Love Jones vibe appeals to me too. And in terms of style icons that inspire me, and let me clarify that their style inspires me, not necessarily their personal life stories. I love the style of Tracee Ellis Ross and Victoria Beckham. I also love the style of vintage Black Hollywood. So ladies who come to mind right away are Diane Carroll and Dorothy Dandridge. Both were very classy and well-dressed women in my view. Now that you've got that in mind, the next step would be to go to a platform where you can visualize and curate your style. And a place where I go to get inspiration is Pinterest. I love Pinterest. Another good place that you can go to find style inspirations, Instagram, but again, going back to Pinterest, and this is a screenshot of my Pinterest board. I just love how you can categorize items because you can categorize according to your lifestyle. So for example, in my Pinterest, I have different boards. I have, for example, weekend getaway. I have CEO chic, which is my business category. I also have global chic. As I mentioned, I love Ankara fashion. And that said, every now and then I love wearing a beautiful head wrap or a maxi skirt with a beautiful African inspired print. Now, if you go into Pinterest and you begin to organize, you can also use it to create what I call a visual shopping list. And I recommend that you find 3 to 5 looks that you can replicate. Once you become good at replicating looks, you'll be able to come up with looks all your own. Now, this is a sidebar, but it's important nonetheless. When you are looking for outfits to go into your wardrobe, be considerate of your size and body shape. In fact, please honor your body type and understand that everything does not look good on everybody. A fashion style rule of thumb is it's all about the fit. In fact, write that down. Again, it's all about the fit. It's got to fit right. Now, I also mentioned replication. As you are developing your personal style, although I recommend you replicate a few styles, please know that you're going to bring your own signature, your own stamp, your own personality to it. Remember, fashion is clothes, shoes, and the hat. Style is how you tilt that hat. Style is how you wear that belt. So when you think about your signature, what is it? Is it your hair? Maybe it's a bold lip. When people see you, what do they usually notice or compliment you on? Perhaps it's your cute shoes or those funky glasses or your signature scarf. I want you to take a moment to think about your signature style. Think about possible signatures you may already have, or perhaps that you want to incorporate. And next, after this, after we come up with our shopping list, you've decided what your signature style is, we're going to organize our closet. And this is the fun part. In all seriousness, clutter creates confusion and stagnation. So if you want to take your style game to the next level, you've got to get your closet organized. Now, when you're organizing your closet, you need to go beyond color coordination, putting your jeans with jeans and sweaters with sweaters, or separating out your long dresses from your short dresses. Don't get me wrong, you need to do that as well. I mean, still do those things. But you want to go further because you're actually going to be doing some editing. And by editing, I mean, you need to look for those items that don't suit your lifestyle or no longer fit. Take them out of your closet and donate them. And by doing this editing or audit of your closet, you'll be able to find the gaps, which will help you in your shopping list. Once your closet is organized, you can better determine if you already have the items you need to recreate the looks that you found on Pinterest. You also can better determine what you need to buy to complete the look. By doing this, the next time you see that 50% off the clearance sale, you can say no to those shoes because they're not in alignment with your style goals. And now that you've determined what your style goals are, you've also organized your closet and you have your shopping list, you'll want to create a budget. Creating a budget will help you to determine where you need to shop to fill in those gaps. Now, for me, I'm drawn to classic pieces because they last and are timeless. That in mind, when it comes to budgeting, I have a few approaches. In one regard, my thought process is pay more, but buy less. So for me, I'm not opposed to taking my time to save up X amount of dollars for high quality pieces because I know in the long run, they will last. I also shop for the occasion. This form of intentionality helps me to avoid overconsumption. When I shop with intentionality, I'm better able to determine how much I'm willing to spend. Now, lastly, before I close, I would be remiss if I did not speak to dressing for video conference calls. Since the pandemic hit, we've all had to be online for numerous meetings and get-togethers. I know that many of you have probably experienced Zoom fatigue. So, how should you dress? Well, here are a few pointers to keep in mind. The first thing I want to draw attention to is being mindful of your colors. If you get a lot of compliments on certain colors on you, then that's a good indicator of a color to wear on camera. But here's a caveat. You need to be mindful of the psychology of colors, which is cultural. Depending on the culture, certain colors may evoke certain feelings and send certain messages. That said, you want to be mindful of that and do your research. I also recommend clean lines or solid colors. Print is nice, but depending on the print, it can be distracting. When you're on camera, you want to draw attention to your face so that people will pay attention to what you have to say. Now, I'm not saying don't wear print. What I'm saying is be careful of the print you choose, as you don't want it to be too busy, which again will be a distraction. Now, I don't have this listed here, but I'm reminded of accessories as well. You want to be careful of the accessories. For example, maybe you like, a lot of bangles on your wrists. I think bangles are beautiful. Or maybe you love chandelier earrings, which are great as well, but bangles make a lot of noise. Chandelier earrings make a lot of noise. And so when you're doing a presentation or you're on a Zoom call, you don't want to make distracting noises. So be careful and be mindful of even be mindful of what accessories you choose as well. Something else you want to do when you're on a Zoom call is you want to be comfortable in what you're wearing, because if you're not, it's going to show on your face. Also, keep in mind lighting. Natural light is best, but if you don't have natural light, consider using a ring light or putting a light behind your camera so that your face can be illuminated. And finally, be intentional about your background, as that also sends a message about your style and who you are. That said, take care to make sure that your background is sending the message you want it to send. With that, ladies, that concludes my talk. Again, I am honored that I was able to share this important information with you. I thank you for listening. I don't take that for granted. And if there are any questions at this time, please feel free to type them in the chat, or you can also DM me on Facebook and Instagram at the SM Society. Thank you.